Hello, I'm Michelle Plankton-Rabinowitz, and this is Crime Watch. To date, your calls to our anonymous tip line have led to the arrest of over 1,500 known felons, including 25 of the FBI's 20 most wanted. Tonight, shocking, exclusive security camera footage of two gunmen who have eluded authorities for over 6 months and who continue to cut a swath of violence across the Midwest.
Pardon me, I'd like to make an announcement. Please do not make any sudden or distressing movements, as this would force me to cut you all down in a hail of gunfire. This is an intricately planned bank robbery. I'm sorry, if I was unduly brusque moving through to threaten the teller, I do apologize. I realize that the majority of your banking needs are most conveniently addressed during the customary lunch hour. Regrettably, my purposes are also best served during this peak customer time, because the lunch hour is typically when the smallest number of banking personnel is on duty. Please note that I will make every effort to move this along as rapidly as possible and allow those of you that do avoid receiving any disfiguring or painful injuries adequate time to eat before returning to your jobs. And again, please accept my deepest apologies in advance for any inconvenience these proceedings may cause.
And so, with those chilling words, the ordeal began. Those who survived described it as an eternity of terror. Watch now as the violence escalates.
In conclusion, and I do think that this certainly bears repeating, yet again, any needless heroics could very well get you shot and result in some secondary damage needlessly to that very lovely William Morris pattern wallpaper. Why not?
I take it from your expression that that may not have been an entirely appropriate course of action at this time?
Well, now, this is a rather distressing turn of events. You see, I had just informed the patrons of this bank that any sudden or distressing movements would result in the use of deadly force. There was, in that statement, the implication that those individuals who did refrain from movement would be safe from harm. It would appear that incentive has now been subverted.
A bank teller, brutally murdered, and the maniacal disdain of the savage killers. Never before in the history of recorded crime have such atrocious acts been carried out with such bloodthirsty civility.
Now, I hope that I've sufficiently clarified that issue. Thank you, sir. That was an excellent question. Now, where will be the clothing issue?
Oh, yes, the clothing issue, yes. That gentleman there, the portly... Yes, that's fair. The portly gentleman. Yes, you crouched under the desk there. I couldn't help noticing you're wearing a very handsome Armani suit. Oh, yes, and you, madam, attempting to hide under the water cooler there. Yes, you seem to be wearing a lovely Laura Ashley floral print.
That one?
Now, I did ask you to engage the safety after our last rather unfortunate incident.
In fact, you had. Yes. Sorry.
Yes, indeed.
Now, of all of the establishments that we've robbed, I can't think of one with more smartly dressed employees.
In fact, I must confess that it was precisely this attention to detail that encouraged Rupert and I to rob your bank.
Indeed.
Yes. Now, you will notice from time to time that I'll be referring to my associate as Rupert. His name, of course, isn't actually Rupert.
No, my name is, in fact, Charlie Ellis, although this, too, could be a clever diversion.
Charlie Ellis and Rupert. That is all that law enforcement officials have to go on at the moment. These chilling scenes captured on video and the eyewitness testimony of the survivors provide tantalizingly little as to the identity and location of what law enforcement officials have come to refer to as the two very polite guys. This terrified mother of one seen here in line, desperately clutching her baby, spoke to us here in the studio. Well, my baby started to cry, and the first robber, Rupert, or was it Charlie Ellis? Well, he put a gun to my baby's head, and he apologized that it might be necessary to shoot him in the head and the chest unless I could find some way to quiet him. Well, as a mom, I can understand how distracting a crying baby can be, and if you're trying to rob a bank, well, I mean, I know he said he would shoot my baby, but it seemed perfectly reasonable at the time. We also spoke with the head teller, another survivor of the ordeal.
Yes, they are very polite. I would that I only had more money to give them. I like them. I like them both. Very polite.
Yes, very polite. And very little for Armenian detective Hanfis Simonian to go on, aside from these grainy images and the remarkable sense of etiquette displayed by the felons. Detective Simonian issued this statement.
I'll call you back. I want to appeal to you miserable thugs. If you don't want me hunting you down like dogs, if you don't want me busting your balls for the rest of your miserable lives, then please turn yourselves in. Or at least do something, interesting. Do you know how frickin' long it took me to make detective? And you guys at least wear masks or something. Add some mystery to it. Steal some money. Give me something to recover. It's the same amount of paperwork. You don't want the money? Split it with me.
That seems a bit rude.
I'm sorry. I'm just an emotional man. Right, to be honest, I mean, sure, okay, I take a little bit on the side, but I'm basically a good guy, and I get this grief every day. I come home and it's the same thing again and again. You still wet my bed,
The two very polite guys are still on the loose. Detective Simonian needs your help to bring them to justice, no matter how polite they may be. If anyone has any information on the whereabouts of the two very polite guys, please call our Crime Watch anonymous tip hotline at 1-800-GET-THEM. I'm Michelle Plankton-Rabinowitz. Good night.
Yes. Well, we seem to be out of time.
Again?
Yes, regrettably. Perhaps we were a bit too verbose. Oh, well, again, I want to thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. It was a pleasure not having to shoot any of you.
Oh,
of course, my mistake. It was a pleasure not having to shoot all of you.
Just a reminder, please do not cooperate with the authorities in any attempt to apprehend us, or we will be forced, regrettably, to hunt down and kill you. I'm very sorry.
As am I.